Okay, I think. How's that crooked? Need to do instructions.
You look up how
What's up, Andy? Hey, brother. Make sure I've got the Wi-Fi for here already programmed in here. It's motion from not anymore. And or that. Okay. It's live already? Yeah. Actually, I should probably have one of you guys check that link. Hit it and see if you see that. Is it on?
it is, but I'm not showing anywhere.
You're not there yet?
No. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, wow, now I am. That's an awesome delay.
I don't know if I'm on the Wi-Fi or not. I think I am. I'd have to.
You got a little bit of the nubbin. Not that I really care.
A little bit of what? Oh, yeah, I see that. Scoot that over. To do that.
Josh Herring and I are having some unprofessional moments up here, so just give us a second. You know, we've been between Scoutmaster and Cubmaster for like 10 years now, and I'm pretty sure we got a photo of myself, Josh, and I think it was Andy eating out of Dutch ovens. We got a couple of those moments eating out of Dutch ovens. All right, so. Well, good afternoon. I'm Josh Kennedy, the Scoutmaster here at 343. It is my pleasure to welcome you as we honor Ryker, ranking scouting. They are this troop's 107th, 113th, and 116th Eagle Scouts. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize a few people. Councilman David Little couldn't make it here today, but I did talk with him this afternoon as I picked up the resolutions for these three young men, and he sends his best wishes to all three of you. I'd like to tell you about the brand name of being an Eagle Scout. Many here may not know what goes into making an Eagle Scout, but you know that it's a brand name associated with quality, character, integrity. And you know, when you think about a Rolex watch, it's good, not like my Timex I got from Walmart, right? When you think about a Lexus car, you know it's a quality apparatus. You know, when you listen to the name of Abraham Lincoln or Teddy Roosevelt, they are instantaneously and universally recognized as icons of integrity. They are brand names. You know what they stand for. Eagle Scout is a brand name. So here at Troop 343, we'll continue to do our small part in delivering quality young men to the Eagle Scout finish line. The Eagle Scout badge is a recognition bestowed by the National Court of Honor and presented through a local council, a local court of honor such as this. Not every scout qualifies for Eagle. Nationwide, the average is about 5%. For every 20 kids that walks into a scout troop, only one out of 20 will make it to the Eagle Scout rank. In this troop, the figure is right about 80%. That's 0%. So, in it to win it, as we often say. So, before I turn it over to our MC, as is my practice, I want to recognize some of the dads who helped get these young men here. First is Brian Miller. himself an Eagle Scout and an Airman, one of our most outstanding assistant scoutmasters, okay, and scout dads. Many hours Brian has looked after his patrol, top merit badges, freezing our rear ends off over in doing automotive maintenance merit badge. Lots of nice camping with kids. He's taken crews to Sea Base. He's taken a crew to Philmont Trek. Philmont Trek, that was the peanut butter sledge event, if I saw the video correctly. This guy has done a lot, not just for his sons, but for many young men here in this troop. So a round of applause for Brian. Then there's Andy Gignilliat, also an Eagle Scout and an airman himself. Andy was our Webelos den leader in Pack 343. So I looked up your numbers from last night, big guy. 8 kids bridged, 6 of them are now Eagle Scouts. Congratulations for that. You are winning, sir. Andy served as an assistant scoutmaster with us. He's taught rifle. Most of the kids here owe their rifle merit badge. So that guy sitting right down there, and he was our equipment coordinator for several years. Andy is a retired special ops aviator, numerous combat tours. Even though we kind of laugh, your flight nap was the airfield. I think that was the running joke as a maintenance test pilot. But a lot of time overseas. And a lot of time with kids here, but the most important of all, and this is why I want to make sure I get it done. Andy has one of the most, hands down, the best motivational phrases ever. So I'm going to put him on the spot one last time in Scouts. So please stand up, sir, and give these kids their motivational phrase that is only Andy Gignilliat can do. Come on, buddy.
You're doing my thunder here, bro.
Come on, man.
Does it have to be loud?
Yeah, because there's only one way to do it.
All right, so there's a reason for this. It's not me being mean, and sometimes I need some motivation, right? So, in the Army, I used to do it, and the soldiers in the hangar used to come out and they used to ask me to yell, "Hurry up." So every now and then, the soldiers felt like they needed some motivation, so I transferred that over to summer camp and winter camp. So. Really?
Yep. From the gut, man. Hurry up! We got stage guys out there to talk now.
Good evening, and yes, my name is Josh Hayden, and I'm a little hurt that Scoutmaster Kennedy didn't go through and say that I was outstanding in my field, because many times I have been outstanding in the field looking for things. And so it's one of those to understand, that I'm Josh Hayden, a community member for Troop 343. I will be serving as your Master of Ceremonies for this Eagle Court of Honor, and it is a very special occasion that I have been looking forward to for quite a while. I am really glad that someone has agreed to finally go through and have a Court of Honor, 107. And so as we go through and have this great day, I am very thankful to go through and start this officially. By the authority vested in me by the National Council of Boy Scouts of America, the Greater Alabama Council, and Troop 343, I declare this Court of Honor duly convened for the sole purpose of presenting the Eagle Scout Award to Mason Miller, Hayden Miller, and Ryker Gignilliat. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the presentation of colors. I call on Mr. James Lingy.
Scouts Reverend, please remove all non-religious headgear. Let us pray. Our God, our Father, in recognizing the Scout here today, we also honor you, for you are the source of his gifts, as the author of all that is best and beautiful in creation and in life. As the eagle extends its wings to thrust the power and strength of the wind to empower it in its journey, we may also open our mind, heart, and lives to power and strength of the breath and the divine spirit to move us. And let us guide us in all we do. We ask for your blessings on the scouts, leaders, friends, and all who are assembled here today. We pray that you would bless this celebration as we rejoice with him. May this ceremony inspire vision and to encourage others to follow the eagle path. Amen.
I now call upon Franklin Shantz, Troop 343 Senior Patrol Leader, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to our country flag.
Scouts attention. Color guard, forward march. Scout salute. Color guard, post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2.
At this time, I will now call upon Reed Renier to present the Scout Oath.
Scout salute. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
I now have the pleasure of asking Oliver Smith and Ryan Bruss to come and present the Scout Law. All other guests may please be seated.
The Scout Law. These are the ideals of scouting. A scout is trustworthy. A scout tells the truth. He is honest and he keeps his promise. People can depend on him. His honor is to be trusted. Scout is loyal. He is true to his family, friends, his troop, scout leaders, school, and nation. Scout is helpful. A scout cares about other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward. He strives to do a good turn for someone every day. He is a friend to all. He is a brother to other scouts. He offers his friendship to people of all races and nations and respects them even if their beliefs and customs are different from his own. Scout is tribal. Scout is courteous. He is polite to everyone regardless of age or position. He knows that using good manners makes it easier for people to get along. Scout is kind. Scout knows that there is strength in being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated. Without good reason, he does not harm or kill any living being. Scout is obedient. A scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these laws and rules are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobeying them. Scout is cheerful. Scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way, tries to make others happy. Scout is thrifty. A scout works to pay his way and to help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources, carefully uses time and property. Scout is brave. Scout can face danger although he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right even if others laugh at him or threaten him. Scout is clean. Scout keeps his body and mind fit. He chooses the company of those who live by high standards. He keeps his home and community clean. Scout is reverent. He is reverent towards God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects the beliefs of others. These are the ideals of scouting.
Thank you, Scouts. As many of you are aware, the Eagle Award is proof of a Scout's commitment and an acknowledgement of excellence and a lifelong source of pride. I would now like to go through and invite all of the Eagles that are in the audience to go through and stand in place and announce when, where, and troop that you received your Eagle from. Eagles, stand in place.
Mike Miller, Sequoia Council, California, 1959, Troop 53.
Brian Miller, 1989, Troop 420.
That area.
Nevada Area Defense Force.
Andy Gignilliat, 1989, Troop 415, Pomfret, Maryland.
Joey Smith, Troop 625, Huntsville, South Carolina, 1988.
Go ahead, Todd. Todd Foreman, St. Louis Area Council, Troop 982 in 1982.
Sean Langseth, Troop 343, Huntsville, December 2020. Colin Langseth, Troop 343, September 2021.
7/22/2021, Troop 343.
Will Anderson, Troop 343, April 19th, 2022.
Very good. Thank you, Eagles. At this time, even though Representative Little is not here, I do call on our own Scoutmaster, Josh Kennedy, to come and present the resolutions to Mason, Hayden, and Ryker.
So I will not read these resolutions in full. But the City Council and Mayor of the City of Huntsville wish to recognize and extend praise to Mason Allen Miller of Boy Scout Troop 343, son of Brian and Michelle Miller, for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout on the 20th day of September 2022. Be it resolved, the City Council and Mayor of Huntsville do congratulate you presented this day, April 14th. And whereas the City Council, Mayor, City of Huntsville wish to recognize and extend praise to Hayden Jodan Miller, Boy Scout Troop 343, for earning the rank of Eagle on the 23rd day of December 2022. Come on up. I suppose I should have that correct, right? And finally, whereas City Council, Mayor, City Council wish to recognize and extend praise to Ryker Gignilliat, Boy Scout Troop 343, son of Andy and Shannon Gignilliat, honor of earning the Eagle Scout rank on 12th of July, 2022. Come on.
Thanks, Scoutmaster Kennedy. Along their paths, we have all enjoyed going through and watching these young men go through and traverse the path of Eagle. And it doesn't stop here, but I digress. I will get back on. We would now like to go through and share some of their scouting histories and memories through personal reviews and slideshows. This is the fun part. I'm going to go through and introduce Rob Renier to come up and give a brief history of Mason's experience and achievements on his path to Eagle while a member of Troop 343. Mr. Renier.
Good evening. I'm honored to present Mason Miller's Journey to Eagle. Mason and my son have been good friends ever since they both become members of this troop. But you know, I sometimes wonder how long that's going to last, given how much they blast each other on the Xbox. All right, here are some stats from his time as a scout. He earned 24 merit badges. He spent over 55 nights camping. He hiked over 100 miles, and he contributed hours on various projects, while his Eagle Scout project contributed over 100 hours when you account for everybody's work that was involved. Right. His first camp out was at Camp Comer, where they hiked the Thunderbird Trail. He remembers that the temperature dropped into the single digits on that camp out, and that it was miserably cold on that night. His favorite camp out was the trip to Birmingham for the weather and aviation merit badges. The aviation merit badge was his favorite since you earn it basically playing on a flight simulator for several hours. Was that an Xbox simulator?
No, it was just some random computer with us.
All right, his favorite food item from all of his campouts. If you've been to any of these, I think you know what I'm going to say. Anybody?
Oreos.
Eggs in a bag.
No, come on, guys. It's the infamous Kool-Aid pancake.
Yes. Remember that disaster.
It comes up every time. I think I've heard that at every quarter one. All right, he attended summer camp twice. Among the things he learned at summer camp was how to get over arachnophobia. So despite initial screaming and yelling when he first saw the spiders in his tent, you know, after you spend a week in the tent with them, you realize that they're pretty much harmless. So that helped him get over the arachnophobia. He did not attend a winter camp, which I highly recommend, but I mean, I guess that first camp out ruined him for winter camping. All right, Troop 343 is a high adventure troop, and he went to 2 high adventure locations. One of these was his least favorite of all the outings. The hiking trip to Philmont was apparently pretty miserable because it rained most of the time, so the trails were really muddy. And then when he went to the top of Baldy, he remembers it was snowing sideways. So it was pretty tough conditions for that one. The trip to Sea Base was much better. He and his crew, they did the trip that involves you stay in a dormitory and then you go on dive trips every day. He said the trips out to the dive sites made him a little bit seasick, but the diving was really good, and he remembers getting up close with a barracuda, and also that was a moray eel that chased his dad. So that's pretty cool. All right, for most scouts, one of these trips would be their high point, but Mason told me what he really enjoyed about scouting wasn't necessarily the specifics of the outings and activities, but that he got to spend time with all of his friends. He told me his fondest memory was one of the marathon lock-ins, which he really liked all of the lock-ins, but he and his friends, you know, it was Ryan and Will and Oliver Dibble, not this. They get to take over like 2 houses over there at the church, and most people just stay in the first house, but they went to the other one and they had the room all to themselves where they could play games all night. And I guess we were playing Jackbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all laughing. If you know, I've seen them play that game. It's hilarious. It can be hilarious sometimes. But he eventually wound up asleep and snoring while the rest of them stayed up for a while. So, along the way, Mason served in several leadership positions. Besides hogging the webmaster position for several cycles, he was a patrol leader twice, and a historian once, and also a junior assistant scoutmaster. The most important thing he learned from these positions was to be calm when working with other people. All right. His Eagle project was to build dog beds and cat towers for the new Leash on Life animal shelter. They opened up a new building over there on 431, and the project provided beds in each of the rooms for the animals. As mentioned before, that involved over 100 hours of service for Mason and the scouts who assisted. And that pretty much wraps up his journey to Eagle. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rob. We'll now go through and share a video highlighting Mason's Eagle journey. Please look at the screens.
To the town of Olive Creek rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly to all around. He's an outlaw, running the whispers from each lip, and he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his number.
I lost most of my day. Oh, whoa, this guy's different than the last one. He doesn't have a spiky fin. Oh, he will. Oh, yeah.
Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was in Arizona.
just kind of sit there and you wish they would just keep going, because you're like, those are good memories, those songs, they're yours, they're not theirs.
That's right.
At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Scott Wood to come up and give a brief history of Hayden's experience and achievements on his path to Eagle as a member of Troop 343.
Well, good evening, folks.
Nice,
All right. Let me start by saying it is my absolute privilege to present Hayden's journey to Eagle Scout, our troop's 116th Eagle Scout. Hayden is the younger of Brian and Michelle's two sons, both of which are obviously being recognized this evening for the rank of Eagle Scout. I first met Hayden in the summer of 2017 when his family relocated to Huntsville from, is it Nevada or Nevada? Nevada. I've been corrected on that probably 50 times by young Mr. Hayden, and I still can't remember. But at the time, Hayden moved into our neighborhood, and side note, there was another kid named Hayden Miller who also lived in the neighborhood. And one day my kid called and said, I'm at Hayden Miller's house. And I went to that kid's house. He wasn't there, and I yelled at my kid. Come to find out, he was at his house. All right. But so when Hayden moved here, what you see now is a normal hair length young man. He had extremely long hair, and he always wore this San Francisco Giants baseball cap. And he seemed to be all over the neighborhood on his bike. Now, I see in his notes here that he has over 200 cycling miles. My guess is if you added 2 zeros to that, that would amount to the amount of mileage he covered in our neighborhood alone in that first summer. As has been a constant theme for Hayden, he loves cars, bikes, and he is a very adventurous young man. He started his scouting journey as a Cub Scout back in Nevada. And when I asked him what drew him to Scouts, he surprisingly said the Pinewood Derby. So he wanted to race cars. But Hayden started his journey to Eagle here at Troop 343 in 2018. He was assigned to the Cobra Patrol here in Troop 343. And I'm going to go over some highlights here real quick. He earned his Scout rank in June of 2018, Tenderfoot in July of 2018, second class in September of 2018, first class in July of 2019, Star in March of 2020, Life in September of 2020, and then Eagle in December of 2022. So his rank progression is pretty normal. For a lot of the young men in our troop, but if you notice, there's about a 2-year and plus gap between his Life and Eagle ranks, which I'll explain that in a little bit. But it's in the program it says he completed 25 merit badges, but when I queried his dad today on Troop Master, it said 26, so I'm going to say 26. And one of the things he had said that having a little bit of a friendly competition with his brother was kind of what kept him driving along this path. And I just want to make note. Sorry, Mason. He got more badges than you. Yep. So when I asked him what his favorite merit badge was, you probably wouldn't be a stretch to guess that he immediately said automotive maintenance, and he also mentioned climbing. So he specifically mentioned loving working on cars. And if you know Hayden or his dad, you would know that working on cars is kind of integral to his life. But he also said that rappelling off of a 70-foot tower at Boxwell was also one of the highlights there. So cars and adventurous is a common kind of theme that runs through Hayden's journey. He attended summer camp twice. He's volunteered on numerous Eagle Scout projects and other things to serve the troop. He has been the patrol leader He has been the quartermaster twice, so he's a glutton for punishment. He has been the bugler more than once as well, and for the record, I don't think I ever saw him with a bugle. In fact, I think the first time I asked you, you said you didn't even have one, or did you?
I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm dated, so I'm having a little memory trouble. But he was also our scribe, and he was a junior assistant scoutmaster multiple times. So, as mentioned before, and you saw in some of in Mason's video, he went to 2 high adventure camps, one at Sea Base and one at Philmont. Both were in 2022. He went to Sea Base in March and Philmont in June. I was also
We went to Philmont, I think,
2021. Yeah,
Yeah,
good. Okay, well then you went. Well, I'm off a year then. I'm off a year. That's right, because we went to the same Sea Base. Regardless,
You were there.
we went to the same Sea Base adventure. With my son and Joseph went, and they went on the scuba diving portion of that, and I went on the. Thank you, Mike Knight, who's not here, but I went on the Out Island adventure. So while these young men went scuba diving and did some really cool stuff and fun stuff, and then they went back and slept in beds, me and my son slept on a deserted island in a tent that was makeshift at best. But we had a great time. It was great. And some might say that he did the cushy adventure, but it was an adventure nevertheless. So on his Philmont crew, he summited Mount Baldy and he hiked through the peanut butter due to all the rain that they had. So it's a testament to his fortitude there. He specifically mentioned these 2 outings and adventures as his favorite outings along his journey, which I find a little bit interesting because his brother said that was the worst experience that he had, and yet Hayden absolutely loved it. So when I asked him to recall his worst experience or outing, he kind of just went blank and said he really didn't have one, which I think is a testament to the troop, as a matter of fact. And back to his timeline, it took him a little while to get his Eagle project completed, but there were multiple attempts here. So his first attempt was to place an informational sign up on Montesano. But as it turned out, I think that thing was going to be like $2,000. So, too expensive. So that one, phew. All right, and then it was, his second attempt was, he intended to build a bridge to the neighboring apartment complex right over here next to the church property. But there was some, I guess, a communication problem with the management over there, and so that kind of fizzled. So, third attempt, I believe, was to build a trail down to the creek that is adjacent to the church property here. That also fizzled out. So 3 strikes, but he wasn't out. His final and successful shot at an Eagle project was to renovate the church storage facility right over here, to which we were all, yay. But when I asked Hayden if there was anything in particular he wanted me to mention about his scouting journey, he kind of paused and said, just nothing too embarrassing. I said, okay, that's fine. Now, there's a couple of stories I want to share on a little bit more of a personal level about young Hayden. And I've got them in order wrong in my presentation here, but I conferred with my son that they happened in the reverse order, but since I've written them this way, I'm going to read them this way. All right. So Hayden joined the mountain biking team, and so with consistent themes are cars, bikes, and adventure. So when he was in middle school, and he just fell in love with it, right? He tried to convince all the neighborhood kids to get involved, and I think a few of them did. But I'm not sure if you all are fully aware of the dangers associated with screaming at high speed down a rocky trail in the woods, but that is apparently right up Hayden's alley. I'm not sure where he gets it from, maybe his dad. But one day Hayden he shows up at my house to hang out with my son Joseph, and his arm is in a sling. And when I inquired as to how this happened, he sort of nonchalantly says, I wiped out on my bike on a trail. So he ate it and broke his clavicle right about there. And it was like no big deal. But on a side note, his dad also took a spill from the bike while on the trail. He broke his hip and a couple of ribs, and when I asked him about it, he was like, man, no big deal. So he comes by all of this naturally. So I would say that Hayden is definitely a chip off the old block. And then, so what happened prior to that was one day I'm out working in the yard and I see a bunch of kids up by the track that's behind our house. And they're on their bikes and they're trying to do these jumps on some makeshift ramp. And my first thought was, that looks pretty dangerous. I should probably go over there and, tell them to stop. But like a good dad, I did not. I went about doing the yard work. And then shortly thereafter, my son Joseph comes back to the house and says, oh, wow, you should have seen it. Hayden made this jump. And his foot slipped off the pedal and he slashed open his shin. Like that much. Anyway, pretty crazy.
On a $5 bet.
Well, it's a $5 bet, and apparently he won. But he made it. He did the jump. And so anyway, I mentioned these stories to give you a little bit of a sense of the kind of person that Hayden truly is. Right? He's fearless. Some might say careless or crazy, but he seeks adventure. He has a love for mechanical things like bikes and cars. Hayden is definitely all of those things, right? But he is also friendly and a very warm-hearted person. No matter of the fall or the obstacle that was presented to him with his Eagle projects, Hayden is diligent and he overcomes to move forward to achieve his goals. So when I asked him what he wanted to do when he grew up, it should be no surprise that he said he wanted to do something with cars. That's right. Cars or bikes. So no matter what course Hayden takes for the rest of his life, I know he will be successful and it will be full of adventure. So Hayden is a remarkable young man of tomorrow. I am honored to have been, to be able to be a small part of your Eagle journey. Congratulations, Hayden.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Automotive maintenance, you say? Interesting. We would now like to go through and share a video of Hayden's journey and achievements with Troop 343.
Someday the mountain might do, but the Lord never will.
again, you don't want those memories to stop. I know y'all feel that way. It's like, no, because it is fun. At this point, I would like to go through and introduce Mr. Surf Cardelli to come and give you a brief history of Ryker's experience and achievements on his path to Eagle while as a member of Troop 343. Mr. Cardelli.
Thanks, Mr. Herron, I appreciate it. How's everybody doing tonight? I brought my old man glasses up here because I'm not sure where the distance is on this one, so if I can do it or can't do it, so we'll go both this way. And I'm gonna have to agree with Dr. Herring over here, because I started high school in 1983, and all of that music was there, my proms and dances, all of it. So I'm not sure what's going on.
It's all on their playlist.
Yeah, and every time I come over for an adult beverage, that's playing on your music too, so. All right, so my name is Surf, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Herring. It's my privilege tonight to present Ryker's Journey to Eagle Scout, Troop 343's 107th Eagle Scout. So Ryker is the oldest of two children by Andy and Shannon Gignilliat. He is the older brother of Miss Sarah Grace, who I don't, oh my God, she's so big. You are here, my goodness. Who's sitting right here now? Ryker achieved his Eagle Scout on the 12th of July of 2022. He attained 32 merit badges, including swimming, small boat sailing, rifle shooting, hiking, backpacking, dentistry, and golf, and earned his Eagle Scout with both the bronze and silver palms. Ryker began his Eagle journey with Pack 343, and he earned his Arrow of Light, continued with Troop 343 until he earned his coveted rank of Eagle Scout. Now, Ryker's journey to advancement to Eagle Scout has been a family event. We've already talked about Mr. Andy Gillette over here. Mr. Josh Kennedy stole my thunder because we all know Mr. Gillette as the hurry up Assistant Scout Master. But he also achieved his Eagle rank and happened in Troop 415 in White Plains, Maryland in 1989. So congratulations to yourself as well. So this is a family event right here. All right, here are some of the things, let me see. Some of the highlights of his Eagle journey was that 32 merit badges one more time. He included his Philmont Arrowhead Award, overnight campings of 50 plus nights of overnight camping. And I don't know if this is right, but 400 miles of hiking. That is a lot of hiking out there, so fantastic. Let's see what we got here. Also achieves the rank of Eagle, and I apologize. He also earned the Order of Arrow, and he's an Ordeal member. Some of Ryker's highlights here, we were talking about it. Him and I had to sit down earlier this week. One of his favorite outings was Ryker was out at the whitewater rafting trips in the Cody River, and I think you've done that twice now. This one time, his raft was continually overturned and overturned. And if anybody was on that trip also, that is also the trip where Cody Humphrey was dropped into the water, okay? And what happened with Cody is when he went off and Ryker was in the same boat, Cody made his way to the shore only to get completely smashed into the rocks by another boat. He went down underneath the water, and it took a few seconds, but he finally popped up and his face was ghost white, his eyeballs were this big, and we helped drag him into the water. Well, Ryker said that was the greatest time of his own, man. That was perfect. But I think one of the better parts of that, and if you guys know Cody, he's a little bit of an embellisher. As it went on, the helmet that he was wearing that was cracked got more and more cracked and falling apart, and the story just got bigger and bigger, and there was 4 boats and an alligator and something else. So we'll see that. One of the other funniest moments in scouting, encountered also during whitewater rafting. That was Cody's one, but that was his fast one. Okay, his toughest moment in scouting. This was during his lead up to Philmont, and they were doing an outing to the Fiery Gizzard, which was a prep hike for Philmont. They ran into a horrible storm that kept over an inch of water on the ground, and it soaked them all the way from the ankles all the way to the bottom of the knees. The entire outing, he said, was miserable until the hike was completed, and they were able to laugh about it later when they were having a nice breakfast at Waffle House, believe it or not. All right. Favorite moment in scouting, Ryker's favorite moment in scouting was during his time at Philmont. On one particular day, the group participated in a mountain biking, that would have been for you as well, in the Via Vidal while seeing Mount Baldy. They were going to climb and summit in the next 2 days. And halfway through the biking, they could hear the distant thunder. which had the counselors all spooked and saying that they had to pick up the pace, make their way down the camp quickly. Now, as they exited the hill they were currently on, and they opened up and it rode down the slope, opened up with a big, huge, massive field. From that point of view, he was able to see the entire field, the entire mountainous regions, and he could see the clouds covering up the area as the storm approached. He thought that was probably one of the most favorite moments in his scouting career. His favorite merit badge, no shock to anybody, was the rifle shooting. Mr. Andy Gignilliat is always putting that on. They go shooting on their personal time. They go shooting. He's done this merit badge multiple times, okay? Worst merit badge? What do you think there, Mr. Kennedy? All right. So, he did mention 2 merit badges that were the worst one. The physical fitness merit badge, of course, was the ones that most of the boys hate, all right? But it's not for the reason you thought. So he figured the physicality of all of that wasn't bad at all, okay? But he ended up finding himself, like all runners do, at a point where there's a wall in front of him and he can't overcome it. Okay, so it was a mental block for him to finish that merit badge more than it was a physical one. And that's why he hated it the worst. Okay, once he overcame that barrier he had, it was no problem. He was able to go back and work on it and do it. Okay. The other worst merit badge was the communication merit badge. His hardest part with that, or the part he liked the least, was the correspondence that he had to write, both to the Alabama State Representative and stuff like that. And being able to draft that up in a way that's cohesive and understanding and be able to get a response back, that bugged him the most, which it shouldn't, especially in the field you're going to go into later in life. On the other hand, he said he did conduct an interview with a Huntsville State Police deputy, which is friends of the family. I've been a few times and found that wasn't as hard as he thought it would be as well. So with the questions all put in place and the ease at which this officer put him, he had a good time with that one. All right, his Eagle Scout project. If anybody's been to the Veterans Memorial Museum on Airport Road, there's about 7 or 8 or maybe even 9 now projects at Troop 343. That is now the Troop 343 Museum and not the Veterans Museum, but we've refurbished a bunch of stuff. Ryker took on one of the biggest ones that we had. He did the refurbishment of a Vietnam Air Marine Corps M48 tank for the Huntsville Veterans Memorial Museum. The project consists of sandblasting the original paint, removal of rust, the application of an epoxy primer, painting of a finished coat, reapplication of the original artwork, which there was the older markings that you saw on the vehicles from the Korean War and the Vietnam, where they had the teeth come out and the hands and the symbols. He created all of that off of scratching paper over the top, redrew it out, paper and everything. It was fantastic, and it turned out amazing. Okay? Outside of Scouts, Ryker enjoys going to the range, as we talked about before, shooting a variety of different weapons, hiking out with his friends, sailing and volunteering at the Huntsville Veterans Memorial Museum. He also enjoys being a part of a band for the Huntsville High School and participating in the drumline club competitions. This is where, outside of the normal stuff, they'll get other drum lines and percussionists that get together and they do competitions, like a drum off or a dance off. Now, he also was a little hesitant about sharing this with us, but I think it's very important because I think this family here, Troop 343, there's a lot of veterans out here and a lot of people that are invested within the government itself. He's involved in the Revolutionary War reenactment ceremonies, displays, and engagements, where he'll actually go out and travel to different places, put on the Revolutionary War outfits, and then reenact what was going on inside of those places. And I thought that's fantastic. It should be applauded and not worried about sharing with everybody else. It is a fantastic thing. It's history, our history, and I love it. Okay? All right, future plans. Ryker is a senior and will graduate from Huntsville High School here soon. He's committed to go to the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide. I'm from Pennsylvania. Right? We got the Navy Lions. All right, where he plans to study international business. And one of his goals while he's there, attending college, is he wants to do as many studies abroad as he can, whether it's in Europe or it doesn't matter. He wants to get up and get away. But he will have to wait at least a year because the freshmen aren't allowed those study abroads at this point in time. So, my other son did, Seraph, and he did a study abroad in Australia for a month. He really enjoyed that. All right. I've known Ryker now and Mr. Andy and the family here for almost 10 years, okay? He's a remarkable young man. I've always found him to be a calm, stoic person. He's got a quiet sense to him. You've never seen him jump up and down. No, he's always analyzing situations, never rattled or excited, and carefully considers outcomes prior to making any decisions or actions, okay? Ryker, you do have a bright future ahead of you, and your only limitation right now is any of those hurdles. It's yourself. And it seems like you can overcome those, so it's not a problem. I'm happy that I had a chance to be part of your journey through this, and I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to come up here and talk about you. Everyone here shares in your successes as well, and we know that if you ever need anything from me, anything from any of the other dads or even the other Boy Scouts in this room, know that they'll always be there for you. We always are. Les and I were over his house, we were talking about what our boys and the opportunities they have and the things that they can get from us. Okay, so I had a conversation, and I hope I'm not breaking any trust over here with Mr. Andy. After you and I sat down and had a conversation, I went and I talked to your dad a little bit, all right? And I told him, I said, the conversation we had was fantastic. We talked for over an hour, all right? And I told you, I think I wrote you and I told you, I said, I think he's a fantastic young man. He's very brilliant and everything else. So what you said to me made me break a little trust, but what he said to me about you is he said, Ryker is a great son. He is so proud of your maturity and decision making, and you don't go out looking for trouble, as of course we did at our age. Back here again. He's very proud of what you want to do in school and what you want to accomplish after school and in your life. But the most poignant part of all of what Andy had said, okay, he says that you have always been a young friend and a little buddy to him as a father, and cherished everything you've done together over the years. You are loved. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Cardelli, and congratulations, Ryker. At this time, we'll go through and share a video for Ryker's accomplishments and establishment. Kennedy is getting old. But I really and truly do want to go through and give a shout out to all the parents. One of the great things about Troop 343 is the parent involvement. From going through and buying a General Lee to going on international trips, those are opportunities that your parents have poured into you, and those opportunities you'll remember forever. Back to being an Eagle. So becoming an Eagle Scout is a great accomplishment, and being an Eagle Scout is a great responsibility, much like that Spider-Man movie. Scout Oath and Scout Law take on new meaning, and there's 5 real obligations to going through and being that Eagle Scout. And the first one is that it's to live with honor. Mason, Hayden, and Ryker, you've now become marked men. You're leaders. You're already leaders. You were a leader before you received this rank, but even now so, people know it, they see it. They have higher expectations of you. They're looking for you to be an example that they can go through and follow. The second obligation is to be loyal. As a follower, an Eagle Scout must be loyal to those above him, and as a leader, Mason, Hayden, and Ryker, you must also be loyal to those that follow you. We live in Huntsville, Alabama. It's easy to go through and see the military mindset and the understanding of that order, and that same thing will come to you as you progress through your life with different roles and experiences. People will naturally want to go through and honor you and follow you and be that leader. The third obligation is to be courageous. As Mason, Hayden, and Ryker will face challenges and obstacles past that bicycle course, past automotive maintenance, helping your dad on his truck. There will be opportunities that you will have to go through and stand up. And so an Eagle must have the courage to do what is right, no matter what other people say or think. The fourth obligation is to serve others. For a leader, above all, is a servant. To go through and be that servant leader is a practice. To do that daily good turn will lead Hayden, Mason, and Ryker through that lifetime of service. You know that giving of yourself really and truly is an enjoyment, right? And so that's one of those things to go through and have that obligation and carry it through. The final obligation of an Eagle is to have vision. As a leader, Mason, Hayden, and Ryker must now blaze their own trail through life. Just as a bald eagle soaring high above the ground can look far into the distance, so too the Eagle Scout must look far into their future. Many people will follow them, but only with vision will they lead the people in the right direction. Honor, loyalty, courage, service, and vision are qualities that will allow them to lead their troop, have allowed them to lead their troop, will allow them to help lead their families, will help them to allow them lead their communities and their nation to a better tomorrow. Mason, Hayden, and Ryker, please rise, join us up here on stage, and face the audience. Oh, down there, sorry. Down there. Eagle Scout Mason Miller, Eagle Scout Hayden Miller, and Eagle Scout Ryker Gignilliat. As a representative of the Eagle Scouts of the Boy Scout of America, I welcome you into the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. The requirements are demanding but fair, require perseverance and ability. Your positions, as you well know, are one of honor and responsibility. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, and to your fellow Scouts, and to mankind in general. This is a great undertaking. Remember that your actions are now a little more conspicuous and people will expect more of you. As you live up to your obligations, you bring honor to yourself and to your brother Scouts. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts, to your country, and to your God. You are prepared to help America in all that she needs most. She has a great past, and you are here to make her future greater. I charge you to undertake your duty to God and to country with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and abilities to God's service and the common good. Here, Mason Miller, Hayden Miller, and Ryker Gignilliat, you are ready and willing to accept these responsibilities. If so, recite the Eagle Scout promise and say, I am. This is where you say,
I am.
I'd like, okay. I'd like all Eagle Scouts to stand at this time and rededicate themselves by repeating the Eagle Scout promise with our new Eagle Scouts. Please, Andy, would you mind being the leader on this, as I am not an Eagle Scout? To recite the Eagle Scout oath. I'm gonna.
Yeah, right? You my glasses?
Pinch. I reaffirm my allegiance. To the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize. And take upon myself. The obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best. To make my training an example. My rank and my influence. Count strongly for better scouting. And for better citizenship. In my troop. In my community. In my contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. Two.
Now I'd like to ask Scoutmaster Kennedy, as our committee chairman is not here, to present the Eagle Scout Award.
Mason, Hayden, and Ryker, we're finally at the point you've been waiting for. Having confirmed all readiness for the reception of this award, it is now time to formally present this high badge of accomplishment. By the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of the Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce each of you an Eagle Scout. May the oath you have taken always remain with you. Congratulations, gentlemen. Let's have Mason, Hayden's, Ryker's parents join your sons up front, please.
Josh Kennedy's font is a little bit smaller than mine. I've got to zoom in.
Glasses? You get older, man.
No one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice and helpfulness from the mothers of these Eagle Scouts, which have led to this occasion. It is fitting that Michelle and Shannon have the honor of pinning on your Eagle Medal.
Several times. Like all Eagle Scouts in the audience today, come on up and give these young men, give them a handshake and congratulate them.
Thank you, John.
We got one more. That's for us.
At this time, we'll ask the parents to be seated.
And as a gift from the troop, I will present each of these young gentlemen an Eagle Scout neckerchief.
Make it tighter, you won't notice.
Thank you, Scouts. You may take a seat.
Just a second. Let me get a photo.
You'll get a lot more opportunity to.
He smiled on this.
On a Scout's path to Eagle, they quickly become aware that they need assistance in completing the requirements of the Eagle badge. Part of the Eagle project is to teach the candidate they cannot complete the project without the assistance of fellow Scouts, adult leaders, parents, and in many cases, individuals with special expertise on their project, even Ryobi tools. They cannot complete the project on their own, and it's important to show the humility and appreciation to those that may have helped them along the way. It is a tradition here at Troop 343 for each new Eagle to thank those who have assisted them on their path to Eagle with words of appreciation and the presentation of Eagle Scout Mentor pins. These pins hold a special place for me, especially this pewter one that I have here. With that being said, it's my pleasure to present our first new Eagle Scouts, and I'm going to go through and ask the Mr. Mason Miller to come up and present his pins.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for taking time out of your evening to come here and celebrate with us all. It's an honor for me to be here tonight, since I know our troop is an exception to this, but achieving this rank is exceptionally rare, which is why I'd like to mention the wonder that this troop is. This troop was the equivalent of hitting the gold mine for me, because I did not think that when I signed up for Scouts that I would reach the rank of Eagle. I thought I would just have some chaotic fun. But how wrong I was. For this troop's vigor, and to be honest, my phone, is what helped me to achieve this award. A troop with strong leadership and full of smart and resourceful adults and peers, each of whom deserve recognition for the part they play. I am undeserving of what this troop has done for me, for it has helped me foster and maintain new friendships that I wouldn't have never been possible without it. It has taught me skills that I would not have learned for years to come. It has given me crucial memories that will not be forgotten. Without it, my life wouldn't be the same. Now, I would like to thank 5 of the adults who were pivotal in my journey. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Kennedy for his aforementioned leadership, being an overall great role model, and for being there since the beginning of my scouting journey. By imparting upon him a mentor pin, one of many more he can add to his collection. All of them.
5 seconds. Next would be Mr. Ryker, for being someone I could consistently go to for help, being a great person to go to for signing off requirements, being the reason that my friend Ryan has been here to many of these meetings. And I lost my spot. And volunteering himself to do that wonderful speech you heard earlier. Then there is that of Mr. Cardelli. Mr. Cardelli was, is, my #1 go-to person for requirement completion and sign-off, and I would like to thank him for being an overall positive experience as well throughout my scouting journey. There are many things I would like to thank Mr. Skul-ski for, but to name a few, I would like to thank him for giving me countless amounts of valuable insight throughout and making trips I thought unlikely possible for myself, like the time he took myself, Owen, and Ryker down to the World War II Museum in Louisiana for their scouting day. For continuously keeping me on the target to achieve this award. Whenever I felt there was no point in attaining this award, my father and my mother managed to persuade me to think otherwise and push onward. My father and my mother also is the main reason why I was able to attend Scouts in the first place, since they're the ones who signed me up and brought me to each meeting. Tonight to support me at the ceremony. That's the end of my speech. Remarks complete.
So I messed up my place as I was going through and trying to get those behind the scene photos, you know. So it's one that let me find back to where I have to be. I know.
Only 3 of them.
Thank you, Mason. With that being said, it is my pleasure to present one of our newest Eagles. Please join me on stage, Mr. Hayden Miller.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight, my family, friends, fellow scouts, and leaders for being here on this special occasion. It has been a journey through these past years, and without your support, it is no question I wouldn't be here tonight. When I first joined Scouts, I had little knowledge of how meetings worked. I got the hang of it pretty quick. Having friends in scouting helped a lot. Just having someone you knew there every meeting, and always something to look forward to. At the meetings and outings, I learned many skills, such as climbing, how to make a fire, how to pitch a tent, how to filter water, and many more. Before I mention my mentors, I'd like to thank everybody who has helped me in any way to get to this point today. My first mentor, no question, is my parents. They have always kept me on track through all my requirements, badges, and outings. They're always there to improvise if something doesn't quite go as planned. Please join me on the stage for that. person, no question about it. Mr. Clark is always there to lend a hand and will never say no to help someone in need. Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood always guides me in the right direction. He makes sure I put my best effort into everything and always to think twice.
And apparently he doesn't always listen.
Mr. Herring. Mr. Herring always shows up to anything with a positive attitude. He is always there to have a good time and to make sure others feel the same. Last, but certainly not least, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy has helped me with just about everything there is to scouting. He somehow manages his time to be at just about every meeting, outing, function, no matter the question. He always has a solution. Lastly, I would like to thank everybody here one last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden. And with that, I welcome up Mr. Ryker Gignilliat, Eagle Scout Ryker Gignilliat, to come to the stage.
So I would just like to say that I'm handing out 5 mentor pins, but there are countless other adults in the audience and not here that helped me a whole lot to get where I am today, just from being in Panther Patrol all the way to where I ended up doing my Eagle Scout project. So it's just a small portion of everyone that's put in work to get me where I am today, and I'm very thankful for that. First, I would like to invite my whole family. I have my mom and dad pins, but I truly believe that all of you were involved in my success and helping me get where I am today. So, in the, I guess is it Weeblo's Patrol? I'm not entirely sure how that worked, but when I was a Weeblo, there were 4 dads that all kind of had their sons, and they kind of guided everyone, from Weeblos all the way up to Eagle Scout. All their sons are now Eagle Scouts. So first, I'd like to talk about Mr. Cardelli, who spoke for me tonight. And so he was there at Philmont with me, out in the rain, just as everyone else. Wait, I forgot. That's
Mr. Cardelli was not at Philmont.
He was not at Philmont. I forgot that.
Now, hold on, I'll hear the rest of the story.
But no, you were there for my Eagle Scout project. You put in a whole lot of work. After the sandblasters came through and took off all the probably lead paint, you were out there with the epoxy primer for at least like 12 hours, probably way more than that. But all of us were out there putting in a lot of work, and I could not thank you more for that effort you put. Same with, I think you were my ASM at one point, and it was just, but it was, I'm really thankful for what you did. So for that, mentor stuff. I'd also like to thank Mr. Humphrey, who was there and filmed, and was also there for my Eagle Scout project, and was there from the beginning with the weed blows and all that. Yeah, I'd like to thank you for being a mentor. I'd also like to thank Mr. Randy, who is director of the Veterans Museum. He could not make it today, but all the input that he gave to me on my Eagle Scout project, and just in general, the advice and the wealth of knowledge that he was for me was hugely impactful, and it made my Eagle Scout project way more impressive than I could have just done it by myself. He was just, he sourced all the paint by himself through one manufacturer that lives in Arizona that only makes the particular paint color and all that. So it was just a huge help to have him. So I will be thanking him after this meeting, probably sometime next month. And finally, Mr. Kennedy, I'd like to thank you. It's sort of a tradition here at 343, but truly you've earned it. And I cannot think of the amount of Eagle Scouts that you have helped through their journeys, and just a huge impact you've given pretty much everyone in this troop. That concludes it. Thank you.
Great job, Scouts. Today has been indeed a great day. I cannot go through and think of a better way to go through and start the weekend. Eagle Scout Court of Honor are always special. For those of us who have been through there, for you parents that are getting there, it warms your heart. It really goes through and makes it personal. One reason that these ceremonies are special is the ability to inspire, and hopefully there are some younger scouts out here who have been able to go through and see through these older scouts the ideals of scouting, and you're able to go through and apply that. And if you've ever been a little concerned about going through and finishing, maybe going through and attending tonight's ceremony has been one of those where you're like, I'm doing that. I'm going to go through. You've got 3 more scouts to go through and look up to and seek as your mentor or as a leader to go through and help you along your journey. So maybe one of these younger scouts have been inspired, and that is really part of that service leadership. Thank you all for sharing in this special occasion, and let's give our Eagle Scouts one more round of applause. There's also one special recognition that I'm going to go through and allude to now.
Yeah, go for it.
What,
He's got the video.
oh, he's got it. There it goes.
Mason, Hayden, Ryker, listen up, you butt nuggets. I got a message for you. Congratulations. You guys made Eagle Scout? No way? Luckies? I almost made Eagle Scout, but then I only made it to flippin' like star, because my leaders are idiots. They don't know anything. Plus they didn't count making like buttloads of boondoggle keychains at scout camp. They didn't count that as a merit badge. I thought that's all I had to do, for my Eagle Scout project, but they wouldn't accept it. Oh, they're the worst. Just kidding, dudes. Mason, Hayden, Ryker, John Heater here. I'm only breaking character for a second because I want to tell you guys that getting your Eagle Scout is pretty much one of the coolest things you can do. I don't know if you guys know, I'm an Eagle Scout as well. So if I could have hung out in your guys' Eagle nest for your Eagle Court of Honor, That would have been pretty sweet. Spread my flippin' wings for all to see. Show off my great talons. I do have large talons. Actually, I built birdhouses for my Eagle Scout, for my Eagle Scout project, so that I could house winged creatures with large talons. Mason, you made dog beds for rescue. Well done. It should be cat beds, because there's a lot of ligers out there on the prowl, and they need love too. We don't have to fear them, they can be our furry friends. Dogs are pretty sweet too, so I guess that's pretty rad. Hayden, church storage room in Reno is all it says here. Did you build a church storage room? Or, renovation. Reno is probably renovation. Yeah, now I get that. Well done. Those churches need to store all their Bibles somewhere. And they got to store other things. That's actually a great service to provide to those faithful people. Ryker, last but not least, external refurbishation tank at Vets Museum. Well done. Anything we can do for our vets. You guys have some serious skills, like life-saving skills, fire building skills, wilderness survival skills. Scout leaders only want Boy Scouts who have great skills. So well done. May you all, hope all your wildest dreams come true. May you all spread those wings of hope and glory and take everybody else under your wing, the younger Scouts. Be an example unto those around you. I love you. Well done. Oh, by the way, this is from your parents. We think you guys are kind of the bomb, as in you're pretty awesome. All right. Mason, Hayden, Ryker, keep up the good work. Oh, and could you guys send me tubes of chapstick or something? My lips kill.
So I am sure that Mason, Hayden, and Ryker would be honored to meet and greet each of you at the reception downstairs immediately following the benediction. At this time, please rise for the benediction given by James Linke.
Scouts forever. Eternal Father, touch our new Eagle Scouts with your spirit on this special day and direct his course in life. May you breathe and fill those wings and carry him to his destiny. May we all remember that becoming an Eagle Scout is not so much as a destination, but a way of life. And may you lead by humanity, strength, and example. Grant on that his honor that he may always be able to do his best. Amen.
We will now have retiring of the colors.
Scouts attention. Color guard, retrieve the colors. Scout salute. Two.
As always, fifth point of the Scout Law. So what does that mean? Let the visitors go first. Let's go downstairs and eat.
Proud of you, man. Congratulations. Definitely cheese.
Congratulations to you, sir.
Downstairs, that was great. Thank you.
Yes, I looked.
4 years ago. That's all right.
That's exactly right. No idea.
Different? Both of you guys are in here, both kids are, holy cow. It's crazy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your help. So here, he's still going. I don't know how we'll stop it.
I don't know, it's not through the mail line.
But we all survived.
Yeah, oh yeah. Congratulations, Mom. Way to go. You survived.
I know, it's wonderful.
Well, I mean, more like, you didn't kill either one of them.
I thought I saw Penny Tony.
No, it's just, you don't know that about me?
You know what?
You got it next one. Josh, you want to turn your candles off now or later?
Yes, sir. We should have some scouts on this.
We'll help Boogie to the reception.
Yeah.
Phone's up here.
There's that. That was good, man. Good stuff. How many more? For now.
Less actually is.
There's a couple of like, I got a guy who keeps saying he's retiring too.
Yeah, I've never had a
You know I got a replacement, right?
No.
We got to put back. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
This one's on and on.
I guess I could probably stop the live stream now?
Yeah. That, unless you want me to.
Well, that's live streamed. Sorry about them. There's still, it still says there's 3 people watching.
My wife was watching.
Okay.
So yeah. So talking about.
Okay, signing off.
Talking about painting toenails and everything. So